I'm doing the development of tourism. And so first I'm going to start with some of my consumer behaviors in my three articles as I'll go over here. Each article kind of dealt with different aspects of tourism. So throughout my research, each of my three articles had different focus when it came to tourism. So for my behavior, I'm going to point out one specific behavior that does not line up with a rational consumer decision. It's important to remember that tourists make decisions based on their emotions rather than using rational thinking to explain their choices. Before I touch on these behaviors, though, I kind of want to go over briefly something my interview person brought up. She's a local trip advisor, and she kept going on about how tourist sites use framing by saying although these trips cost money, they gain experience of a lifetime to help better suit their decisions. Thought that was something worth bringing up. But my first article's focal point was pollution caused by tourism. For my second article, the focus was on development of Airbnbs and the effect they have on the tourist world. The studies show that more and more people are preferring Airbnbs over hotels. The numbers show that it is indeed cheaper to find an Airbnb, but only if the party is over 4 members. Anything below 5 shows that ordering a hotel room is cheaper, therefore leaving more room for extra activities. But even knowing this, consumers still insist on going the route of Airbnbs. And then finally, my third topic had to do with the effect of tourism development on the environment. The studies in this article show that although the developing tourist sites can enhance the economy, officials are making it more and more difficult to develop these sites due to things such as noise pollution, air pollution, overall environment pollution. So to go more in depth on my first article, as I stated, this article's focused on tourism pollution, but more so air pollution than any other. And the author used panel smooth transition regression for their research. The study divides China's 283 cities into 3 distinct regions, including 100 east cities, 107 central cities, and 76 west cities, as these 3 separate groups have different levels of air pollution and tourism development. The results show that the effects of tourism development on air pollution are neither linear nor nonlinear. They also found that the mechanism through which tourism may have a significant impact on air pollution depends on different regimens of tourist arrivals. Another big takeaway would be that the results have documented that tourism can be responsible for air pollution reduction, implying that tourism is a cleaner industry than manufacturing or agriculture industries. Although it's important to keep in mind this article is just referring to air pollution, as I stated, it does mention later that they found that tourists produce up to twice as much waste pollution than locals. And then for my second article, this one I kind of found the most interesting, but as I mentioned earlier, people are beginning to gravitate more towards Airbnbs, mostly due to more personalized experience along with the authentic aspect of going to Airbnbs compared to hotels. You can also look at this as self-hurting. I'll use my family as an example. We don't travel much, but anytime we did as a kid, we'd stay in hotels. It wasn't up until about a couple years ago we started staying in Airbnbs and haven't been to a hotel since. One thing I believe hotels are trying to combat this with is offering their complimentary breakfast as an example of Ariely's zero cost, an attempt to help convince more people to come stay. So what does this mean for the economy as a whole? Due to more and more people going this route, it leaves less business for hotels, meaning less jobs needed for those to work for hotels, meaning less jobs for the economy. Another major factor is more and more of these houses are being bought and built in order to be used for these Airbnbs, which in turn drives up prices for people looking to buy homes for their families. So that's something to keep in mind. And then finally, my third article focused more on the economic impacts of tourism. Throughout this study, they found both positive and negatives for tourism development. The promising impacts for tourism is the local community. It provides jobs and business opportunities to those in the area, improved standard of living and infrastructural development in the area. Tourism increases economic activity. The influx of tourism drives up local business businesses' demand for services and products, creating jobs, increasing revenue, and reducing poverty. The negative environmental outcomes include overcrowding, too much traffic, air and noise pollution, environmental degradation, and intrusion of landscaping for local community. They also found a 4.1 depletion in natural resources, as well as a 3.9 increase in pollution. And so this kind of brings me to my overall findings and recommendations. So we find ourselves with an issue of how to create new tourist sites in order to help the economy in those areas grow, while at the same time keeping in mind of the pollution, and now with Airbnbs, how to regulate the buying of these homes in order to keep housing markets under control. Tourism generates a wide range of benefits for the economy, community, and people. As for recommendations, I suggest the government get more involved in trying to help new cities open up these new sites to help economic growth, while also being able to help the locals adjust. Tourism helps the economy through revenue generation and shares responsibility with the government to help any poverty they may be dealing with, create opportunities for job placement, and also protect the environments. Government leaders are directly responsible for providing a clean environment, nature, and ecosystem, which means both national and local governments are responsible for preparing and helping implement tourism development plans, enforcing values and standards for tourism development. One way that may help them is using the endowment effect. Make the locals feel as though these tourist sites are their own by hiring people within the community. As for leaders in the industry, I would recommend consider reaching out to local Airbnb owners and use the idea of transaction utility and coming up with some sort of deal for your own tour sites, and then helping the Airbnbs as well, and developing some sort of plan that you can both benefit from. And so tourism is a growing industry with great economic upside, but it's just as important to keep pollution as low as we can while developing these new sites. So that is all I have. Thank you.